So this class we are going to discuss about the nuclear fission reactions, the calculations based on the nuclear fission reaction. See the point here, some example reaction. So this is an example for the nuclear fusion reaction. One proton combined with two neutron forming a tritium nucleus, forming a single tritium nucleus. So what happens? Because the energy is released in the case of the fusion reaction due to liberation of the due to fusion, energy is totally liberated. Such energy liberated, how is it possible? Because of the mass defect. I think, but I heard about the concept of mass defect is nothing but the difference in product of the difference in mass of the product of the parent nucleus and the daughter nucleus has been converted into the energy according to Einstein mass energy equivalence. See here, this is a mass defect. So this is called a tritium nucleus. You know that tritium contains what? Is a mass number 3. This is atomic number. This is a 1 proton, 2 neutron. So automatically it contains what? 2 neutrons and 1 proton. The sum of these two one gives the mass of the your tritium nucleus. It should be subtracted between the mass of the what? Your proton and neutron. So that should be subtracted. The difference in mass is called 0.009105 atomic mass unit. All the nuclear mass is expressed in terms of atomic mass unit. What is atomic mass unit? Is nothing but instead of this one we are expressing weight mass in terms of atomic mass unit. Means one atomic mass unit it is equal to 1.66056 in 10 to the power minus is a minus 27 kilogram. So this much of kilograms is equal to 1 atomic mass unit. So energy expanded in this process is the binding energy of the tritium. So you know that the difference in mass. I think so. This is your mass of the what? Tritium contains 2 protons and 2 neutrons, and tritium contains 2 neutrons and 1 protons. Simply this is called mass of the your neutron. This is a mass of the proton that should be added here. So minus mass of the what? Your parent nucleus, your daughter nuclei. So this should be like this. Otherwise you can take it in another way. So 1 proton, mass of the 1 proton, this is 1. Mass of the 1 neutron 1.00865. That should be multiplied with the 2. You are getting what? So this is a mass of the neutron. This is a mass of proton. That's called parent technique. This is called these two reactant side. So that should be subtracted from the what? The tritium nucleus. So how they are giving the mass of the tritium nucleus directly? It means that some spectral technique like Bainbridge mass spectroscopy, it gives the exact mass of the all the nucleus. This is called the experimentally observed mass of the tritium nucleus. So such a mass that should be subtracted. So actual mass is nothing but you are calculating that mass should be subtracted from the experimental mass. Such a mass should be converted into the energy. So that is liberated as energy according to Einstein mass energy relationship. So this is called a conversion factor. 1 million electron volt. I think so. 1 million at 1.6 to 10 to the power minus 13 joule is there. So energy expanded in this process, the binding energy of the tritium. No, we know that energy is nothing but you know that mass difference is 0.00910 atomic mass unit. That should be converted into kilogram. So just one atomic mass unit is equal to this much. 0.00905 ton mass is equal to 0.00905 into 1.6056 10 to the minus 27. That is I put here into velocity of light 3 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Here see this one, all are kilogram SI unit. If you put a kilogram, you have to put in terms of meter. If you put kilogram, you have to put in terms of meter. If you put gram, you have to put in terms of centimeter. So you got to square in this one. You are getting finally joule is there. So you know that joule to this is all like your atomic mass unit. The energies of the nucleus is expressed in terms of million electron volts. That is nothing but instead of the joule, we are expressing the energies in terms of 1 million electron volt. Normal unit. This is instead of joule, we are expressing energy in terms of million electron volts. So just instead of kilogram, we are expressing the atomic mass unit, the kilogram instead of the atomic mass unit. So we are expressing the mass in terms of atomic mass unit in terms of kilogram. So that this is called so you know that you are getting, finally you are getting what, some amount of energy, that one this joules is equal to this divided by 1, which is equal to 1 by 1.602. So into how much million electron volt, just you are multiplying this to 1, you are getting what, 8.494 million electron volt. So this is a total binding energy of the nucleus, because deuterium has 3 nucleons. Its binding energy per nucleon is where because what is a nucleons, you should know, this is nothing but a combined mass, combined number of the protons and neutrons. Here 1 proton, 2 neutrons, so as a result 3 nucleons. So combined of the it's a combined counting of neutrons and protons. So for formation of 3 mass number 3, energy should be liberated 8.494, but binding energy per nucleon means 8.494 divided by 3. So just divide this value divided by 3, you are getting 2.831 million electron volt. So this is a nuclear fusion calculation. So another illustration we can find out. Calculate the binding energy of uranium 235. So this is atomic number 92. So 235 is a mass number. You have to put a subscript here. This 235 should be a superscript. So I'm not this. You have to just add this. Now, if this atomic mass is 235.043 in atom, so it is a experimentally observed mass. This is a experimentally observed mass. Binding energy, from this you have to find the binding energy. You know, sum of the, so this uranium 235 contains 92 protons, 143 neutrons. We know that the mass of the single mass of the single proton 1.007825. Mass of the single neutron, you know that this one, just multiply this mass of the proton with the 92, mass of the neutron with 143, you are getting 236.958995 atomic mass unit you are having, but actual observed mass is 235. Such mass defect, subtract this from this to from here, you are getting some atomic mass unit. Such excess of the mass is converted into the energy. Such excess of, because its actual mass is very low. This is a theoretically calculated mass. The difference should be the mass defect. Such mass is converted into energy according to Einstein mass energy relationship equivalence. So you are getting in terms of a difference in terms of atomic mass unit, that should be converted into million electron volt. So this is a binding energy. You know that this is the overall binding energy of your nucleus. But nucleus have both uranium nucleus combined nuclear number of nucleons is nothing but 235. It's nothing but a combination of both the proton and neutrons. 235 nucleons, if it possesses, has a binding energy 1782.9. If it contains a single nucleon divided by 235, we are getting the average binding energy per nucleon 7.59 million electron volt per nucleon. This is binding energy of the overall binding energy. Is a binding energy per nucleon. This is a binding energy per nucleon. So here let us see some important notations, some exercise regarding this one. So normally how to just express chlorine 39 means mass number 39, atomic number should be expressed in subscript. So lithium 8 is mass number 8, atomic number 3. Osmium 183 means you have to write like this is a notation. 183 mass number, 76 atomic number. Zinc is nothing but what is a mass number 71, atomic number 30. So you have to write in terms of XA notations. So predict the mode of the decay and write the balanced nuclear reactions. For example, according to Sadi group displacement law, if a uranium 238 undergoes if it is undergoes is if it is converted thorium 235, how many number of particles, which type of particles, how many number of particles are expressed in each case. You should be able to find out. For example, U238 to thorium 235 means what? Sorry, I think it's a 235. It's a 235. It means I think of course 234. This is a 234. Thorium 234 92. So by according to, you have to balance the nuclear reaction. You have to balance the nuclear reaction by putting helium particles. Now check the mass of the product side. 234 plus 4 228. 90 plus 2 92 is called atomic number. So thereby it is equal. So whenever write the nuclear reaction, you should always be aware of balanced equations. Okay. So then SBM. This is called a Brooklium. This is called a BK 250 is there. So 254 to 250 it is converted mode of decay. Then again it emits the beta particles. By emitting the beta particle, ES element is converted to Brooklium 250. And sulfur 36 converted into chlorine 36. So by emitting the beta particle, you know that the beta particle emission leads to the atomic number increased by 1. Alpha particles emission decrease atomic number by 2 unit, 99 to 97, okay, 16 to 17, okay, 90 to 90. So molybdenum 99 is converted into what? Technetium 99 43 by emitting the beta particles. So you should be able to write this kind of equation if they are giving simple reactants in product side. If I give SBM, Brooklium, sulfur 36, chlorine 36, you should be able to write the byproduct, which type of particles are either a helium nucleus or positron or beta particle, which you should be able to write it. You can easily do it by mere keeping your root displacement in mind, and also you have to balance the nuclear reactions. This is the solved problems link. You have to write solved problem means so listen, there are plenty of solved problem they are having. Write the nuclear symbol for each isotope using notations, like the number of protons, number of neutrons, NP ratio for each. Iron 57, tungsten 158, potassium 39. They are giving. So just go to this page. They are giving the exercise with the answers. So they are giving the answers in the final list. So this is a final list. They are giving answers. So you have to please go through this one. I will ask the incoming internal test by picking one or two exercise from this website. Please be thorough in this area. So application. So similarly, there are also another things. Fission chapter is all there. So another things. So what is the fission? Some famous calculations, energy released by fissions. So energy released by fission of 238 strontium, xenon 3 neutrons, atomic mass of 238, they are giving experimental atomic mass, strontium, everything they are giving. So actually strategy is nothing but the product has the total mass. You have to count the product, total mass of the product. This is called already they are giving like this mass of 3 neutron. It emits 3 neutrons means you write the product, all the product, sum of the all the masses of the product side in terms of atomic mass unit. Mass last is nothing but, so already they are giving uranium 238 how much. So difference is called a mass defect. That mass should be converted into energy according to Einstein mass and relationship, mass energy relationship. This is called atomic mass unit. So you are having c square is there, you know that c square they are having 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter 8 meter per second. You have to square it, so you have to energy in time. So this one you are getting, and so you have to just write convert this atomic mass unit in in terms of what from joule to this one you have to try. So according to mass energy relationship you have to do this. Now this is a calculation. So like this, it also beautifully they are explaining every diagram. You may go through this. So from kilogram of the fissionable fuel, this is also another popular problems. You may go to this website. So application of the radioactivity in the field of the medicine. This is very important. So far we have studied about the what is nuclear chemistry, what are the type of the nuclear reaction, fission, fusion, positron emission, alpha emission, beta emission, disintegration, like that different types of the reactions, nuclear reaction we have gone through. So what is a fission, what is a fusion, so all this, and also some problems related to the fission and diffusion. We just went through all these things. Now what is the application of the radioactivity in the field of the medicine? Normally the field of the medicine, there are plenty of application. Let me just give the important application, three applications. One is called thyroid gland applications. Normally our if there is any anomaly in the thyroid gland, you can observe this anomaly through this radioactivity technique, imaging technique. So our thyroid gland produces three hormones. One is called triiodothyronine is called T3, tetraiodothyronine is called, or thyroxine is called T4, calcitonin. So among these three hormones are T3 and T4 are very important, because these two hormones, level of these hormones indicates the whether it's a patient, means the patient possesses the thyroid or not. So the T3 is the important hormone, because these hormones are because they are made in water follicular cells of thyroid, because these hormones are nothing but a chemical substance, you know that. So hormones are nothing but chemical substances. So iodine is one of the main building block of these T3 and T4 hormones. Our body can't produce this trace element itself, so we have to take it through diet only. So means when you take the iodine, so through diet it is absorbed into our bloodstream from the food, and also and directly into our bowel. So it is then carried into thyroid gland, where it is eventually used to make thyroid hormones. So this thyroid we are taking through diet only, is taking to thyroid gland, where it is utilized to produce a thyroid hormone. Sometimes our bodies need more thyroid hormones, sometimes they need less thyroid hormone. How is mechanism, exact mechanism, but one. So suppose if we just administrating the some radioactive iodine 131 nuclei, the compound containing iodine 131 nuclei intravenously, that after sometimes after 4 hours, after 24 hours, the patient is placed under the scanner, which detects the radioactive emission from the neck region, because our neck contains your thyroid gland. So this intravenously injected iodine 131 nucleus entered into the bloodstream, directly reaches the your thyroid gland. So it when it reaches a thyroid gland, your detector is focused on your neck on the neck. As a result, the distribution of the distribution of radioactivity from the in and around the neck region shows the approximate size and shape of the thyroid gland. In hyperthyroidism, the increased radioactivity uptake. So it is so means the intensity of light signals is very high. The highly shaded areas, the glow become very high. Sometimes if thyroid is so if hypothyroid means low thyroid, the thyroid gland is very low. It means it is represented in terms of image of the your in the scanner. So radioactive, what is the mechanism began? Iodine 131 is nothing but a beta particle. As soon as it is internalized, it emits the beta particles. And also then after that emission of beta particles, it produces the atomic numbers increased by 1 unit. It produces the xenon nucleus in the excited state. This excited xenon nucleus is, when it comes to the ground state, it emits the gamma ray. That gamma ray that is used to image imaging purpose of your thyroid gland. This gamma ray is nothing but a detected by the detector, not a beta particles. So this is some image. See this point. So normal thyroid gland is some shrinked thyroid gland. This is your normal. This is hyper. There is a difference in some glow. The imaging shows whether it is what your thyroid is hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. Like this, you can judge. You can judge. You can judge. Positron emission tomography is another popular technique. Nowadays, very popular technique. So that measure the physiological function by looking at the blood flow, metabolism, neurotransmitter. This PET is called PET scanning. They are popularly called as PET scanning. So it is used to measure the physiological functions such as neurotransmitter, means transmission of the neuron signals, the metabolism activity, radio level as a blood flow, everything could be monitored. This PET technique. It is also comes under the radioactive technique. PET offers a quantitative analysis allowing the relative changes over the time to be monitored as a disease process evolves, as a disease process evolves or in response to the specific stimulus. So it's a principle. It's a PET scan. It's a PET image. So normal heart muscles with a good blood flow like this seems to be PET scan image should be like this. If there is any obstruction in the restriction in the blood flow of the heart, the PET scan image should be something quite different. We can find out some problem in the heart. This technique is based on the detection of the radioactivity emitted after a small amount of radioactive tracer is injected into the peripheral vein. So the peripheral vein, they are injecting some radioactive isotopes, radioactive isotopes in the particular compound. The tracer is administered intravenous injection. Ever this injection only they are using. So the compound containing oxygen or fluorine or carbon or nitrogen in the form of the radioactive. So normally C12 is not a radioactive. Fluorine, oxygen 16 doesn't is not a radioactive. Fluorine 90 is not a radioactive, but oxygen 15 is a compound containing radioisotopes of oxygen, fluorine. Instead of the normal isotope of oxygen contains oxygen, fluorine, carbon, nitrogen, like this at 15, 18, like this. The total radioactive dose similar to the dose used in the computer CT scan. So this is the principle behind. As soon as we just injected the electrons in the compound containing fluorine, this fluorine undergoes the undergoes the emission, means it emits the positron particle. It emits the positron particles. This positron immediately emitted when the fluorine nucleus present in the particular compound immediately react to the tissues present in the nearby tissues, because everything is the blood stream is in contact with the tissues also. So automatically this positron emitted from the nucleus, F20 nucleus is interact with the tissues where it contains some protons and electrons. Is converted into the what? Just like your annihilation technique in cosmic ray showers. So this is called particle. So your tissues contains the negative beta particles. It's called positron and electron combination gives what? Photons of gamma ray. So this positron collide with the electron in the tissues. In the process, converts the mass to energy to form the two photons. So as a result, annihilation of these positron and these beta particles emitted from the nucleus, and with the annihilation of these positron particles emitted from the F19 nucleus, F18 nucleus, combined with the electron present in the tissues, giving two photons. So this is the annihilation. So these two photons detected by the gamma ray camera. The PET camera uses a scintillation crystals placed around the subject to detect these photons. The camera is the scintillation crystals of scintillation. So the crystals absorb the photon, producing the light that is converted into the electric. So as a illumination of this photon causes the electrical signal, producing the light. This light is converted into electrical signal that is stored. So depends upon the intensity of this one, we can find out the extent of the disease. So PET scans takes 10 to 40 minutes to complete. They are the painless. Okay. A common use for the PET is to measure the rate of the consumption of glucose in different parts of the body. So if you find out the glucose metabolism, simply this is called fluorodeoxyglucose, one of the compound similar to that of the glucose in which the normal fluorine is labeled to the F90, fluorine and fluorine 19. Now enter the F19 nucleus allows the measurement of the rate of, so along with the glucose it enter this compound fluorodeoxyglucose enter into the metabolism, so it is labeled to the F18 nucleus. On clinical use of this to distinguish the if there is any benign or malignant tumor, definitely the rate of metabolism of the glucose, means your fluorodeoxyglucose, is quite different in the benign as well as the malignant tumor. If a malignant tumor metabolizes the glucose at a faster rate than the benign tumor. If it is a tumor is very malignant, means cancer threat to the tumor. So it metabolizes glucose very faster rate. If it is a benign, it gives a normal metabolism. The whole body scans after the performed to stage cancer. Other application of PET includes looking at blood flow and oxygen consumption in different parts of the body, different parts of the brain. You can monitor the flow of the blood in the brain. For example, understanding stroke, dementia, because these kind of things, dementia and strokes are due to the there is a variation in the blood flow in the brain. So tracking neurotransmitters such as the disease like dopamine, Parkinson disease, yes, you can monitor the extent of disease by PET scan. So this is called normal brain in PET scan, because this is the same principle. Again F18 nucleus, F18, again this is a F18 nucleus. It is nothing but emit your beta particles and gamma rays. Then brain, if it is a brain tumor, there is obstruction the blood flow, that is reflected in the image of the PET scan labeled with the F18 nucleus. Kidney scan done by the, so you can also scan the kidney by injecting iodine 131 labeled in heparin or labeled in diodrast, means both are heparin diodrast are nothing but a compound. So see this compound, it is a compound iodine. Iodine is labeled instead of normal iodine, we are using radioisotopic iodine. So these iodines are injected, this compound is injected in the bloodstream. So this iodine is nothing but a 131 iodine. So anatomical and physiological defects in excretion can be easily identified because of its mechanism. Iodine 131, as soon as it is entered into the bloodstream, it emits the beta particles and also foil simultaneously forming xenon in the excited state. This excited xenon is converted into the ground state by emitting the gamma ray. This gamma ray is used to capture the images of the anomalous behaviors, anomalous images of your kidney. So similarly, technetium blood flow studies, blood flow of heart could be analyzed using technetium 99. So the you have this molybdenum initially they are having radioisotopes, they injected radioisotopes of molybdenum, so it creates emits beta particles forming a technetium 99. This technetium 99 excited state has the half-life 6 hours, and also as soon as it entered the one, it keeps on emitting gamma rays. So this gamma rays used to image your anomalous behaviors in the particular region blood flow also. Thank you.